The topic of this video is start being happy, stop giving a fuck. The reason why I picked that title is from my observation over the past year, in my experience, I've seen so many people that worry about a lot of things that are out of their control. And I'm going to break that down basically in this video. So the first things first is accountability. You got to know that whether directly or indirectly, everything in your life has been dependent on a decision that you made or did not make. That's why I say directly and indirectly. So you got to hold yourself accountable for the bullshit that's in your life. Whether you like it or not, you got to hold yourself accountable right now. If you haven't already, hold yourself accountable. I do it every day. I don't complain about my life because I know every decision that I made to get up to this point is my fault, whether directly or indirectly, whether it's a decision that I made or I didn't make. So getting it out the way. Now, not giving a fuck. It's a very simple concept, very easy to, how can you say, put in motion. So I'm going to do a little story. When I was younger, I had real bad anxiety. I still had it up until a couple years ago, but I had real bad anxiety. I wore glasses. Obviously, I'm wearing them right now. They're thick as fuck, but I couldn't see. I had acne. I was overweight. I was just a recipe for disaster, basically. So I had real bad anxiety. I played football a couple years out of high school. I was decent. I ended up going to a different district. And the way it works, you can't play football. So I was in a different district for my last year of school or whatever. I didn't play. So I didn't know anything about working out, eating right, nothing, none of that. Didn't play football my last year. I got fat as fuck. And at that point, I made a decision myself to change my life, get in shape, get fit, all that, start eating right, all that shit. So I was blessed enough to have people in my life that'll help me throughout that journey because I didn't have a job. I was broke as fuck. I was just out of high school. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I didn't even have a plan, but I was blessed enough, and I'm so grateful that I was in the position that I was in and still am to have these people in my life. I was so blessed to have somebody in my life to help me. My grandmother, she helped me. She got all the food that I needed. I started eating healthy, started working out around the house. Then I joined the gym. I started bodybuilding and whatnot. But that was one of my first spiritual journeys that I can recollect because I've been deep into spirituality a couple years now, but that was my first one because I know that the mind-muscle connection is a metaphysical thing. It's not just physical, And that was something that I established early on. And I'm so grateful for that experience because that just pushed me to heights that I probably never imagined before that. But anyway, so I start working out. I start eating right, bodybuilding. I put on a little, you know what I'm saying? I put on a little size on me, you know what I'm saying? So I did that, and I still had the anxiety though. I still had a little bit of anxiety on me. And I was just like, why the fuck do I feel like this? Why do I always get nervous? And little did I know, I hadn't conquered the mind part of it, I hadn't conquered my mind yet. I conquered my body, but I still didn't conquer my mind. And this would take maybe like a decade later for me to actually finish conquering my mind. But I had my body, but I only had half of it. You know what I'm saying? I still was giving a fuck. I was giving too many fucks. So fast forward, I ended up getting in a relationship or whatever for like a year or two or whatever. I was still giving a fuck at that point, and I think that's what led to the downfall of that relationship because I gave too many fucks. And there's nothing wrong with giving a fuck sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you shouldn't give a fuck sometimes, but I gave too many fucks and I was going above and beyond my means to, I guess, gain the approval of other people, including the person I was with. And that led to the downfall of that relationship. And that was really my groundbreaking realization that I need to stop giving a fuck. And it started with self-love. You know what I'm saying? I spent so many years worrying about other people and worrying about how other people see me and all this. Even when I was bodybuilding, it was cool and I was doing it for me, but at the same time, I was still doing it with other people in mind. Even like, you know, the little things, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm grateful for that because I'm at the position right now where I work out and I just don't give a fuck. I do what I want. I work out how I want. I go heavy when I want. I eat what I want. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I started taking care of myself. I started focusing on my mental health, and it gets talked about a lot, but it still doesn't get talked about enough. Focusing on your mental health, because at the end of the day, only you are alone with your thoughts. You know, someone else can't go into your brain and basically control you like, well, they can, but you know what I'm saying. You control your thoughts. You are alone in the room with your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much all the time, unless you know have somebody there with you all the time, which is not really good for you. And one thing I noticed with my self-care, a lot of people just are afraid to be alone because they don't trust themselves with their own thoughts, which is sad because at the end of the day, that's all you have. You, yourself, and your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? If you can't trust yourself with your thoughts, shit, you out of luck. You know what I'm saying? So I started taking care of myself and I needed the isolation. I had never had so much isolation in my life. I made a big move last year, and I was finally in a space where I could be alone, and that was the best thing that could have happened to me because it's hard to think, especially when if you're like me. I overanalyze everything. I think a lot. I overthink everything. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was part of my anxiety, but I overthink everything, and it can be a good or a bad thing how you, depending on how you figure it out. But I was finally in a space where I could think by myself. I could be alone. I could pretty much do anything I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Mentally and physically, I could do whatever I wanted to. So I got to the point where I started thinking to myself, and I just started, you know, self-analyzing when I get into situations. So this is how I overcame my anxiety, because I would always get in positions where I would be, let's say I was in a store or some shit, and I would get surrounded by a whole bunch of people, and I'm an empath, so I feel energy wherever I go, and no matter the energy of the people around me, it gets overwhelming energy. You know what I'm saying? So I would get in the store and it would be like fucking 10, 15 fucking people around me. And I swear it would feel like my fucking head's about to explode. Like I start fucking losing it. And I'm not one of those people that'll like curl up in a ball or some shit. So my first instinct is to like start knocking motherfuckers out or some shit or start throwing something, you know. But I can't do that for legal reasons. So, and because that's wrong. So I just get out of there, you know what I'm saying? But I could still feel the energy on me even when I get out of the situation. And that would happen to me not often, but it would happen more often than I would like it to, you know what I'm saying? And I would just be like, why the fuck is this happening to me? Why the fuck am I getting into situations where there's a lot of people around me and I'm just like feeling crowded and shit? And I was like, I shouldn't fucking feel like that, right? And fast forward to when I started my self-care journey, I started taking care of myself more. I started focusing on myself more. And suddenly that shit was gone because I realized no matter what situation I was in, it's all dependent on how I react to it. And this is why I said at the beginning of the video, everything you do, every decision you make is yours, whether directly or indirectly. So you reacting to someone else, that's your decision too. You made that decision to do that. And you can't blame it on somebody else just because they made you feel a type of way. But you chose to react to it. So, you got to deal with it, right? So I started getting to the same situations. And all of a sudden, that shit does not faze me. I'm just like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I stopped caring because if I know if I let the energy of others control my reactions, then I'm giving it power over me. And when I do that, I immediately lose. I can't give someone or something power over me, because all you have is your mind, You might have your body, you might have your physical attributes, but some people don't even have that. So that just goes to show you all you have is your mind, and your mind is your most powerful tool in your entire arsenal. So I got to a point where I was in those situations, I was surrounded by people, and I was just like, man, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Because I have my mind. I didn't let my emotions and my feelings control how I felt in that moment or any moment. You know what I'm saying? And this comes back to people that have a hard time making decisions. You know what I'm saying? They feel the pressure. They get nervous. You know what I'm saying? Or they have a hard time making hard decisions. And that's another thing too. When you have to make hard decisions, they might be hard, but they're just decisions. You know what I'm saying? What makes them hard is their consequences. It's cause and effect. It's not good and bad. It's cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? So if a decision is hard to make, it's because of the consequences. But regardless of the consequences, if it's in your best interest, you know what I'm saying? Make the fucking decision. Like, do it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you know the outcome, you win it. If you know the outcome of a situation, make the fucking decision. Fuck it. Like, what do you have to lose? You know what I'm saying? This is your only life in this existence. This is your only life in this existence. Your energy might travel through infinite realms, but in this existence right now, this is your only chance. So when it comes down to decisions that you have to make to benefit you, fucking do them. You know what I'm saying? And you can't hold back because of somebody else. And I'm glad I was in a position. I'm grateful I was in a position that I could learn before I made any decisions that could have hurt me in the long run. Like, I don't know, if I would have got the person I was with pregnant or something, I had to deal with her after the fact or something like that. Anything could have happened, really. But I'm grateful that I came out like unscathed, basically. I came out with a clean slate, and I was able to kind of restart my life after that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I just stopped giving a fuck about everything, really. I mean, I still give a fuck about myself, and I give a fuck about certain things. But when it comes to things that are out of my control, I don't care. I don't care because I realize that me caring or me worrying about it is not going to help the situation. A lot of people prefer to worry about a lot of things. I noticed that. Like, a lot of people just prefer to worry. Like, they don't want to be carefree. They need something to worry about because it makes them feel special, I guess. Not me. I prefer to have nothing to worry about. Like, life is not about worry. Life is about experiences and connections you make with people and things. It's about connections. It's not about worrying. You know what I'm saying? If you have a life full of worrying, you're not having much of a life, to be honest. So once I stopped worrying about how other people think of me, how other people see me, how other people feel about me. Everything just became easier. Like I felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? I'm in here shoulder pressing, all my problems or whatnot. That's literally how it felt. Like I just feel good. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I do have bad days. Everybody has good and bad days. You know what I'm saying? Some days I feel like the weight's still on me, but I mean, at the end of the day, I still don't let the actions of others control how I feel. I don't let others' behavior, others' characteristics control who I am and how I react and all that and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely been a great experience nonetheless, but the best takeaway from it is like, I just don't worry about things. I take care of what I can take care of. And when it comes to things that are out of my control, fuck it. That's literally what I say. I just say fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I can't do anything anyway, but worry. And why would I worry? Excuse me. Why would I worry about anything? Especially things that are out of my control. That literally makes no sense. It's like I'm holding myself back from being the best version of me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people talk about being the best version of themselves or whatnot. But there's some truth to that, If you want to be the best version of you, you just gotta focus on you, you know what I'm saying? You gotta do what you gotta do for yourself, and you gotta make sure you're happy at the end of the day. Because if you're not happy, why are you even here? Why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you go do what you gotta do? Like, what things do you do in your life that make you happy? Are there things in your life that make you happy? You gotta ask yourself that question. You can't just do things to do them. You know what I'm saying? You can, but that's a very mundane and sedentary life. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're just doing things to do them, like you have like, there's no meaning in them for you. You know what I'm saying? There's no passion in it. And it doesn't have to be things like this. Shooting videos. I like it because it's cool. I like giving people my perspective on things, but it could be little things, you know what I'm saying? Little things here and there. Like, you don't have to quit your job, and, if you like your job, keep doing your job. But you got to make sure it's things around your life that make you happy. If it's not something in your life that make you happy, man, you got to reevaluate some shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to reevaluate some shit, because I'm going to tell you one thing. You're not here to just be here. You know what I'm saying? You're here to be happy. Fuck it. Your life might be, I don't know, boring. Your life might be, but it's not dependent on how other people see it. It's how you see it. You know what I'm saying? If your life is what you want it to be and you're happy, fuck it, do it. I will never tell somebody to do something that I'm doing because I'm doing it. I would tell you to do what you want to do. Do whatever makes you happy, though. Fuck it. You gotta get into the habit of doing things that make you happy. And don't settle for doing something just cause. You gotta say, fuck it. I'm gonna do this because I wanna do it. You can't be afraid. There's danger, but then there's fear, you know what I'm saying? And fear is different from danger. Danger is real. Danger is very real. But fear is non-existent. Fear is something that you create. You create fear. Like, fear is not real. You know what I'm saying? Danger is real. Fear is not real. Fear is the fakest shit you can fucking think of, Fear is something that stops you from doing something that you really want to do because you're afraid of what might happen. You're afraid. But why are you afraid? You know what I'm saying? It's only so many outcomes that can come out of being afraid of doing something that you want to do. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? If it's not the outcome that you want, fuck it. Do it again. Maybe change something. You might get the outcome you want. That's all it is, bro. Like, doing what the fuck you want to do, making sure you have a plan, And then if it fails, shit, do it again. You get infinite tries, you know what I'm saying? One thing I notice about people that I study, they do the same thing. They fail over and over and over again. They fail. That's all they do. That's all they do. They fail in things. But it's their willingness to keep going after they fail, you know what I'm saying, that makes them successful, that makes them who they are. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, when they fail, they just stop. They just fail and stop. And that's why they end up where they are. You know what I'm saying? With the what ifs and regrets and all that shit. They fail and they stop. And then they get into a position where it's 20 years past since they last tried. And they probably have a job that they fucking hate. Or they doing something that they hate. Or they living a life that they hate. And they're just doing it because they want to do it. And they feel like whatever they tried to do before is too hard to do now. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to keep fucking doing it. Find something you like. Learn about that shit. And do it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because now you can literally pretty much learn how to do anything on the internet. Like, you can Google something, learn how to do it. You can YouTube it, learn how to do it. You can watch a million different perspectives of how to do something and just learn how to do it and then put it in motion. You know what I'm saying? So it's really no excuse. You don't even have to go to school anymore for the most part, or whatever you want to learn. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's something you want to go to school for. I'm not going to 100% say, you can't, but you get what the fuck I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to fucking... Most things you could just learn on the fucking internet. But it's got to be like your willingness to learn it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to get enjoyment if you just want to look something up. You got to be willing to learn it. You got to engulf yourself in it. You know, you got to indulge in the knowledge of it. And that's why I said the brain is probably your most effective tool, because this body is cool and all that, but without my mind, this body would not be able to function. I wouldn't be able to do anything with this body, Mind, muscle connection. That started the bodybuilding, So it starts with the mind. And the more you learn in your mind, shit, you could fucking do anything. So, yeah, you just got to be able to say, fuck it. Fuck it. I say it all the time, I say it all the time, and it's helped me. That's how I got over fucking anxiety. That and other things, but that's like the main one, you know what I'm saying? I can't let other people influence me and have power over me in any way. Because once I lose my mind, I lose everything. All you have is your mind. That's why they put all these things in front of you, like in advertisements and all these shows and all that shit and all this, all these outside entities, they put on you to influence your mind, because all you have is your mind. And they know that. But once they have your mind, shit, you done. You done. You done. That can go real deep. That conversation can go real deep, but we'll save that for another video. But yeah, you got to be able to protect yourself, your energy, and your mind, because it's a gimme, society right now. It's a real narcissistic atmosphere right now. Everywhere you go to the store, especially when you're driving, it's the worst. You know what I'm saying? It's like every man for himself, and you got to be able to maneuver through that with somewhat the same mindset, because self-love is somewhat the same mindset, but it's also not, because I'm narcissistic when it comes to myself, but if somebody asks me for help, I'm not going to say no. That's just who I am. That's my character, you know what I'm saying? I protect myself, but at the same time, I give myself, when I'm needed. And you got to have the balance of both. You can't just be one, you know what I'm saying? Because once you tip to one side, you could take an advantage of, or you take advantage of somebody else. If you're too narcissistic, you take advantage of other people. If you're too giving, people take advantage of you. So you got to have a balance of both, you know? Duality is what they call it. So, but you just got to be able to get inside your own mind, focus on yourself, and realize that what others do to you only depends on how you react to it. So if you don't react, nothing happens. If you do react, you immediately give them power. And you can't do that, especially over your mind. You have to control the power over your mind. It can't belong to anyone else. Peace.